Hey, I'm Frederick from Optmyzr. I want to answer a question about how we derive cost per click when you have a target return on ad spend. So target return on ad spend is a pretty common bidding methodology if you do e-commerce. And in fact, in Optmyzr, you can use the rule engine that we have to set CPC bids based on an ROAS target. So this is our rule engine. And one of our basic ways to calculate this is to take the total conversion value divided by the number of clicks and multiply that by 1 divided by the target return on ad spend. So some people ask us, where does that actual equation come from? So let's go and take a look at that. So we'll go through a little bit of math here, but I've already put in the two things that we know. So from that equation, we were looking at value per click as well as return on ad spend. Now, what is return on ad spend? Return on ad spend is basically how many dollars of value you want to derive for every bit of ad cost that you have. So it's basically value divided by cost. So if you think back about that equation that we had, it was value per click and multiply that by the inverse of return on ad spend. So the inverse of that would be flipping these two around. So it'd be cost divided by value. So that is how we derive the CPC. So CPC is what that is going to be equal to. Now, if we do a bit of basic math here, we see that value on these two sides of the equation, we can just drop it, and then we end up with just cost per click. So in fact, the equation very simply to come up with CPC is value divided by click, multiplied by the inverse of the target return on ad spend. Now, of course, the value that you get per click, the value component, that is something you pass into AdWords. When you do conversion tracking, you get to feed into AdWords how much value you get from those conversions. Some people feed in the margins, other people may feed in the actual revenue that's produced by those sales, and that's up to you to decide. But then that, of course, also determines what type of target return on ad spend you might want to set. So let's do an example here with this equation. So say that we knew that we get $10 of value per click. Okay, so value per click, that's $10. Now, say that we had a target return on ad spend, to keep it really simple, of 100%. 100%, by the way, numerically, that's 1. So what we would do is we would take that value per click, and we would multiply it by the inverse of the target return on ad spend of 1. So 1 to the negative 1 is still 1. So what that tells us here is that for each click, we can afford to pay $10. So let's see if that actually makes sense. Okay, so if we know we get $10 of value from a click, and we want to make the same amount as we spend on ads, then we can in fact spend $10 to get that click. That's our break-even point. Now let's say you had a 200% ROAS target. 200% numerically, that's just a 2. So we're going to do 2 to the negative 1. And here on the left-hand side, of course, we're still going to take that value per click that we get. So 10 multiplied by 2 to the negative 1 is 10 divided by 2. So in this case, we can afford to spend $5 for a click. Okay, so we spend $5 on a click, we derive $10 of value. So now we've made 2 times the money that we spent on buying the ad and the click to derive that value. So that's how the formula works. Now, if you go back to Optmyzr for a second here, you will notice this is the basic formula that we put in, but you can do much more with it. So you can go and edit this to put on some other factors. On the left-hand side of the equation, you could decide how many conversions you want to take before you consider the data statistically significant. You could also put in other factors. So you could do things like say, we only want to raise our bids if we also see that the quality score of something is good, for example. So lots of flexibility there with the Optmyzr bid rule engine, but I wanted to make sure that people understood also where the basic formulas come from.